Oh my God! I have a big crush on him though. I'll tell you that much. I really like him though, and I don't care who he's dating. I always had a crush on him. I wouldn't turn it down. Let's just put it that way.
Look at Beyoncé.
Tiffany Cobb, aka Blu Cantrell, born March 16, 1976. At the start of the 2000s, Blu Cantrell seemed destined to become one of R&B's leading ladies. She had the look, the voice, and a hit song that made her an overnight household name. Hit 'Em Up Style, aka Oops, was no slow burner. It exploded to number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100, got her a Grammy nomination, and turned heartbreak into empowerment long before that became the formula. Her debut album went platinum, she toured internationally, and major publications labeled her the next big star. But just as quickly as she rose, she disappeared. No scandal, no flurry of flops, just silence. Years later, fans would start asking, what happened to Blu Cantrell? If you look hard enough, you'll find whispers, some unconfirmed, some repeated often enough to seem plausible. The most persistent rumor is that Blu Cantrell didn't fall off, she was pushed. That at some point in her climb, she crossed the wrong names in the industry, specifically Jay-Z and Beyoncé. In old interviews and behind-the-scenes gossip, there's claims she was romantically linked to Jay-Z before he and Beyoncé were official, and that when tensions allegedly flared, Blu spoke publicly, maybe recklessly, about what she knew. In her Wendy Williams interview, she alludes to a lot, but never confirms the rumors to be true, even though stating she has a crush on Jay-Z and wouldn't turn down a personal offer from him. But what is clear is that shortly after those rumors circulated, her career came to a screeching halt. She'd released one more album, 2003's Bittersweet, which earned solid reviews but got little support. After that, Blu Cantrell became a ghost in the industry, virtually erased from the conversation. No high-profile features, no comebacks, nothing. Some say she was blackballed. Others say it was a combination of label politics, poor management, and mental health struggles. The truth, like most things in the music industry, may be somewhere in between. What's undeniable is that Blu Cantrell had the tools to go the distance and didn't. While artists with less range and originality continued to thrive, she disappeared into obscurity. Maybe it was the wrong enemies, maybe she said too much, or maybe in an industry that thrives off power and image, she just didn't play the game the way it was meant to be played. Whatever the reason, she spoke the wrong name and then vanished. For that and these reasons, what happened? Let's talk about it. It's your boy Jay-Z, StuntedGrowthMusic. Let's get it. Take a minute to like, subscribe, and comment on who I should do next. Blu Cantrell was a singer and songwriter from Providence, Rhode Island, raised in a musically gifted family. Her mother was a jazz vocalist, and Blu grew up singing gospel and theater music before moving to Los Angeles to pursue a career. Broke but determined, she ended up staying with an A&R and songwriter by the name Tab and his wife, who believed in her talent and gave her a place to stay while she recorded demos. Her big break came at a dinner party hosted by Tab, where music executive L.A. Reid was a guest. Blu was asked to sing and did so a cappella, stunning the room. Impressed, Reid signed her to Arista Records on the spot. In 2001, she released So Blue, led by the massive hit Hit 'Em Up Style, aka Oops, which peaked at number 2 on the Billboard 100. The album went platinum, and Blu seemed poised for long-term success. Stunt number 1, label mismanagement and mishandling. Blu Cantrell's second album, Bittersweet, was supposed to solidify her status, not stall it. After the massive success of Hit 'Em Up Style, the industry expected her to either double down on her formula or evolve into a deeper, more soulful artist. Bittersweet did the latter. It featured mature songwriting, powerhouse ballads, and big-name producers like Babyface and Timbaland. Critics praised the album's direction, but the rollout was sloppy. Promotion was minimal, the single choices felt scattered, and the label failed to capitalize on her growing brand, especially after Breathe became a hit overseas. That song, which paired her with Sean Paul, hit number 1 in the UK and dominated international airwaves. But strangely, it was never pushed hard in the US, and momentum was allowed to die out. Arista Records, undergoing internal changes and shifting priorities, seemed to take its eye off the ball. Blu wasn't given the same push as other female R&B stars of the time, despite already having proven her marketability. The album debuted modestly and faded quickly. No major tour, no crossover follow-up. For an artist just 2 years removed from platinum success and Grammy nominations, the lack of support was alarming. Blu later alluded to being disappointed with how the project was handled, but by then it was too late. Bittersweet had come and gone, and with it, the industry's urgency to invest in her. This wasn't a case of a bad album or public scandal derailing her career. It was poor business. Blu had the talent, but no infrastructure and no strong team protecting her momentum. In an era where R&B was getting crowded and political, label backing meant everything. And once hers faltered, so did her visibility. The result, a sophomore album that should have launched her into long-term stardom, became her last major release. Stunt number 2, wrong rumors at the wrong time. As Blu Cantrell's music career lost momentum, something else began swirling. Rumors that she had crossed powerful figures in the industry. The most persistent claim that she had some sort of personal or romantic connection with Jay-Z before he and Beyoncé were officially together, and that tensions behind the scenes may have led her to being quietly pushed out the spotlight. What gives this theory traction isn't just hearsay, it's timing. These rumors gained steam shortly after the release of Bittersweet, right when Blu's presence in the US market began to vanish. Some claim she made statements about Jay-Z in early interviews, while others point to her 2003 appearance on The Wendy Williams Show, where she didn't confirm any direct relationship, but said enough to raise eyebrows. She openly called Jay-Z her celebrity crush and mentioned she wouldn't turn down an offer from him. It wasn't a scandalous confession, but in an industry driven by loyalty, alliances, and ego, even playful comments can be career-altering, especially when they involve the wrong names. Whether exaggerated by blogs or genuinely seen as a threat to someone else's image, the consequences were noticeable. Blu didn't get the standard second chance rollouts other artists received. No major collaborations followed, no third album, no return to award shows or talk show circuits. She became, for lack of a better word, unbookable. This wasn't just a case of a fading star, it felt like a strategic erasure. Artists with far less talent were still being pushed. Blu had a platinum album, a #2 Billboard single, and international success, but her name was quietly left out the conversation. The silence around her was loud. It's entirely possible that international politics, shifting label priorities, or personal choices played just as large a role in her disappearance. But the gossip involving Beyoncé and Jay-Z, arguably the two most protected names in music, has followed Blu for 2 decades. Whether true or false, or somewhere in between, the fact that these rumors are still talked about while her music legacy is overlooked says everything about how narrative can eclipse talent. Stunt number 3, she crossed the wrong one. By the time Blu Cantrell released Bittersweet in 2003, her career was already being quietly smothered. The project came and went with little push despite star producers and critical praise. But the real story might not have been the music, it was the tension behind the scenes. The same year, rumors swirled that Blu had a romantic past with Jay-Z, and more importantly, that she started talking about it. Even if never confirmed, she said just enough in interviews to spark speculation. And when Beyoncé was becoming the centerpiece of an industry empire, any perceived threat to her image was treated like an enemy. Blu, with her edge, aggressive attitude, undeniable voice, and beauty, may have been too bold, too unpredictable, and too close to something powerful people didn't want public. Suddenly, her name vanished from future releases, no features, no press, no third album. It was like someone flipped a switch. She didn't fall off from lack of talent or self-destruction, she got shut down. Whether Jay-Z was protecting Beyoncé or label heads was preserving the royal couple's image, someone made the call and Blu was gone. And as if to twist the knife, Beyoncé would later name her daughter, guess what? Blu, adding irony for those who remember Blu Cantrell's abrupt fall. The industry has always protected the chosen few. Step outside the boundaries, speak the wrong name and you're done. Blu's disappearance wasn't scandal, it was influence, weaponized behind the scenes. It worked, her momentum froze, her name went unspoken, and her legacy was buried beneath whispers. By the time her 2014 public mental health incident made headlines, Blu had already been erased. Whatever demons she battled then were likely made worse by a system that silenced her long before the world noticed. All in all, Blu Cantrell didn't disappear because of lack of talent. She vanished because she may have crossed the wrong names. With a platinum debut and one of the most iconic R&B singles of the 2000s, her potential was clear. But when rumors surfaced about Jay-Z and subtle jabs toward Beyoncé followed, the industry response was swift and silent. She didn't fall off, she was shut down. Whether intentional or circumstantial, her career froze in place and she never got the second chance she deserved. Blu Cantrell had the tools to win, she just wasn't allowed to use them. Salute, much respect, but for these reasons, her growth was stunning. It's your boy Jay-Z, StuntedGrowthMusic, and I'm out.